At the time of this recording, we are about 16 or 17 hours away from the official start of Nintendo's next generation with the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct tomorrow at 8 a.m. Central Time. Now, normally I don't do videos like this. I don't do predictions for directs that often, but I felt this one is pretty important, so I feel like I should do one because how often does a new Nintendo generation come around? Like once every 6, 7, 8 years? So let's start off with what I think is pretty much guaranteed, and that is the release date, of course. And now the rumors have pointed to June, so I'm going to say actually mid-June, so like June 15th-ish, I think is when it'll come out. I think that makes more sense than holiday, or, I mean, the Switch 1 came out in, I believe, March of 2017. Obviously, we're past that now, but June makes sense because they'll have some big game then, and then it'll be the ramp up to the holiday season. Now, I think the price will be $399.99 for just the standard Switch 2. But I think there's going to be two SKUs of the Switch 2. I know a lot of people believe now there's just going to be one version of it. I think they'll both be, I don't know, probably the standard black with the new like red and blue outlines on the new Joy-Cons. But I think the second SKU, like the first SKU will be $400, no pack-in game. And the second SKU will be $450, but it includes the new Mario Kart, which I will get to in a moment. Before I get to that, though, I think another big focus of this Direct will be talking about how certain Nintendo Switch 1 games will play on Switch 2. Obviously, the dream would be something that Xbox does. Like Xbox Series X, I think, for the most part, plays all older games slightly better. Not necessarily a huge improvement, but and then there's certain games that have FPS boost you can enable, or like they get a better resolution. Obviously, I think everybody would love that if the Switch 2 played every Switch 1 game better by default. That's the dream, but I don't think that's happening. This is Nintendo. You got to remember, they can be kind of a dumb company sometimes. For as much as we love them, they're kind of dumb sometimes. I mean, remember Alarmo? They had a whole direct about an alarm clock. So I think there'll be a list announced for the specific games that will get some kind of big patch, upgrade that makes the games look better, run better, but it'll be limited. It'll be like maybe most of the first-party games, not all of them, but probably nothing third-party, but we'll have to wait and see, but I think that's going to happen. And then I have a list of what I think is a lock for launch for mid-June. So my predictions for the first party launch day game / launch window, so it's not just June 15th, it goes all the way until holiday, but I'll get to that and detail it. Mario Kart 10, but I think it's going to be called Mario Kart X. I think they're considering Mario Kart Tour 9, because you know how Nintendo is with their weird numbering systems. They have series that have official sequels on handhelds, and then they go back to main consoles. Like, look, Mario Kart 7 was a 3DS game coming after what? Didn't that come after Mario Kart Wii? I think. And that was an official sequel. That was the next mainline game, and it was on a handheld. So they do weird stuff like that. And Metroid 2 being a sequel to Metroid, and yet it's on a handheld. Like, they don't really care about the separation between handheld and console, especially now with the Switch. It's all the same. So, I mean, they were going this way anyway. So I think Tour was 9. It's going to be Mario Kart 10, but it's called Mario Kart X, because of course it's got to be Roman numerals. It's time, man. It's been, 11 years by the time it comes out, and I think it's guaranteed to come out with the Switch 2, because we already saw it. It's the only Switch 2 game we've seen. Then I think a new possible pack-in game, it might not be a pack-in. I think there's like a 50-50 chance that it's just sold separately. Potentially maybe downloaded already on the Switch 2 when you buy it, and that's a new 1-2 Switch style game, maybe not the third game. I can't believe they made a sequel. They made another 1-2 Switch game that I forgot about. But something like that, but that shows off the mouse controls, because we've seen we don't know it's for sure, but the way it was shown in that trailer, it sure looks like that's a mouse. So, and I'll get to that again later. I'll bring up the mouse controls. That I think there's another game that's coming with that'll utilize that. Another absolute lock, because it's been, I think, 7 years since the launch of the Switch 1. We've had one new 3D Mario this generation, and I think it's just going to be the standard now. One new 3D Mario, every generation. It's time. I don't think it's going to be called Odyssey 2. I don't think it's Galaxy 3. It's not Sunshine 2. It's something totally new, brand new name. But I think that's going to happen, and it's going to launch with the system. And then the other launch game, I think, is a remastered old Zelda game of some sort. I don't know which one. To be honest, I'm going to revoke my Nintendo nerd card a bit here, because I wasn't really into Nintendo for a long time until I got a Switch. So I'm not well versed in the Zelda franchise. So what are the ones? Tell me in the comments which ones haven't been remastered. One of those I think is going to get a big remaster for the launch. And that's your big 3 games for launch is Mario Kart X, new 3D Mario, and a Zelda remaster. And that's pretty massive for Nintendo. And then I think there will be some additional games that will be teased, but not coming at launch, maybe late this year, early next year. One of those will be a new Animal Crossing, I think will be teased for probably next year, because it's been like 5 years, which is kind of crazy. It came out during COVID, New Horizons, sold very well. The next one I wrote in all caps, Cope, because I really want it to happen. I'm just going to keep guessing this until it happens one day. New 3D Donkey Kong game for next year. And you know why I have it on here? And it's because of the DK Land theme park that's opening at the Universal Park. They want to have some kind of cross-promotional stuff. So, like, they want DK to be more popular, put out a new game. I know they just put out the remaster of DKC Returns, but everybody's been clamoring for a 3D DK game since DK64. It's got to happen, man. And I can't believe Kirby got it before Donkey Kong. Does Kirby sell more? I guess it does. But make it kind of like Kirby in the Forgotten Land or whatever that game's called. And on top of that, I'll get to more NSO stuff later, but I do think they will put out DK64 finally on NSO. Then I think we'll get a big tease for Splatoon 4. I think it's been long enough since 3. They've been kind of cranking those out every, 3 or 4 years. So, just a tease for Splatoon 4, because that series, I think, sells very well. I say that, but Nintendo still supports series that don't sell well. Look at Metroid. We're still getting Metroid games. It's a crime against humanity that series doesn't sell more. IMO. And then here's another one that you probably weren't expecting, that I kind of went on Wikipedia and was looking at all their franchises and all their IPs and thought, which one of these series hasn't been touched in a long time? I thought about F-Zero, but something tells me that's not happening. We're just going to keep getting old F-Zero games on NSO. We've gotten a lot of Game Boy ones, but I think we're going to get the GameCube one, because that's popular. And it's probably, if it's happening, it's probably a long ways off, a new F-Zero. And then I thought about maybe Kid Icarus. That's a possibility for this, but my last major game tease, I think, is a new Yoshi game. Because the series has been MIA since 2019. It's been a while. We had Yoshi and Yoshi's Crafted World. So I think it's time for a new Yoshi game. It's been long enough. I don't think we need a new, Luigi's Mansion. It's probably too soon for that. So dig up an old franchise like they seem to do once in a while. So we're past the big new games. I think that the other thing they're going to do is some big NSO dump. I'm hoping, because I think I can speak for most Nintendo fans that we're sick to death of the drip feed. Stop drip feeding us 2 games for usually 2 crappy NES games a month, and 1 Game Boy game and a couple, maybe 1 SNES game. The drip feed sucks, and I hope this is relatively permanent. All these games will remain on every... if Switch is what they're just going to do from now on, Switch 3, 4, 5, I think the library should keep growing. Don't ever reset again. Like they did with the Wii and the 3DS, or the Wii U and the 3DS. Those stores are just shut down. The Virtual Console's gone. Hopefully this subscription service stays. Just keep adding to the list. Make it massive. But the drip feed sucks. So because it's the Nintendo Switch 2 launch, I'm hoping for a big dump of new stuff. And again, I went and looked into the list of stuff that they could give us. And I think it's finally happening. I think we're getting GameCube and DS support. Now, I know they like to resell us GameCube games at full price, which sucks, but hey, it's Nintendo. But I still think GameCube NSO is going to happen. And DS, I think, is only going to happen because We have, I mean, we don't have, I think you might be able to get a stylus for the Switch, I'm not sure. But I think because of the mouse, they'll be able to use the mouse controls as the stylus controls. I think they found a way to port DS games seamlessly to the Switch. That's just cope on my part. I really want the 3DS or the DS Pokemon games. 3DS is another story. I don't know how they would do 3DS. Probably not. They probably can't. Just because how different that architecture is. And a lot of 3DS games have just been remade for Switch. But I think there's going to be a big emphasis on, we have a future commitment for Nintendo Switch 2. NSO's not going anywhere. They want to really cement that, yes, we're going to keep putting stuff out for this. But on top of GameCube and DS, I also think Wii will be teased. I think Wii, because that's shocking to me that hasn't happened. Like I said before, they sell us Wii games a lot too. But I think they will put some of the lesser, not as popular Wii games on NSO, and they'll work with the Joy-Cons. But I think the Wii functionality will come like this holiday. It won't come at launch. I think DS and GameCube are launch. Now, just because I love Metroid, fingers crossed, I want a Metroid content drop just to lead us into Prime 4. They want to build the Metroid hype. They kind of did this with Dread, where they were putting out, I think they put out Fusion on NSO before Dread came out. They were kind of filling in the back catalog of Metroid. Unfortunately, it took a little bit longer to get Zero Mission. Finally, I love that game, so Zero Mission's on there. But we don't have remasters of Prime 2 and 3, which is completely shocking to me. I thought for sure at this past Direct we would get a tease of 2 and 3 remaster. And I could see that Retro probably can't do it, because they got their hands full with Prime 4, but let someone else do it. Just fix the controls, pretty up the game. I thought for sure we would get Prime 2 and 3 remastered before 4. There's still the possibility they announce it tomorrow, but I don't know. And there's also been rumblings, some rumors that they're not doing it anymore because they figure it's not worth the time investment, which I get. So I think instead they will put Prime 2 on GameCube NSO, but I don't know how, like maybe not fix up the graphic, maybe a tiny bit, little bit of work, tiny bit, and maybe tweak the controls, like give us the 2-stick controls, but not a full remake like they did for the first game. And also a resolution boost. That's pretty much all it needs, I think. And then Prime 3 coming later this year, closer to Prime 4 for the Wii NSO. Again, resolution boost, frame rate boost, fixed controls, but not a full remake. And then the other thing is the DS NSO, fingers crossed, I want, just put out Metroid Prime Hunters. Why not? Because Sylux is back in Prime 4, and he was introduced in Prime Hunters, so do that. And I've played that. I remember playing that a long time ago. And just for the hell of it, Prime Pinball. It's fun. Just put out Metroid Prime Pinball. And then I didn't really have a list of, things I thought for sure outside of Metroid for Nintendo DS, but I think there'll be more than Metroid. I think there will be other smaller games to fill out the Nintendo DS catalog, because again, it's gonna be a drip feed again. We still haven't gotten a massive catalog for any of them, so this will start the DS drip feed. And then another thing that I think will be on there, a new NES game on NSO, not new, but an old new addition to NES, and that's, I brought this up earlier, Mario Paint for the launch, and it uses the mouse feature. It makes perfect sense. And then also on top of that, I think they will tease a new Mario Paint, because it makes, what other franchise uses a mouse besides Mario Paint? Is there any? It makes perfect sense. So I think Mario Paint will return. It's a no-brainer. Again, although it's Nintendo, sometimes they do really stupid things. They make dumb mistakes. But I think this is one thing that they will do. And then I wrote down some GameCube games that I think could come trickling out over the course of this year up until the holiday for NSO. And that's the first Chibi Robo, the first Crazy Taxi, Kirby Air Ride, as the GameCube Zelda games, the GameCube Mario Party games, maybe, what's the F-Zero game for GameCube called? It's is it GX? Whatever that one is, the GameCube one. And then also, these are no-brainers too, Mario Kart Double Dash, Smash Melee, and Diddy Kong Racing. I feel like they have to come. And I don't think they'll talk much about the Wii NSO until closer to the end of the year when it launches. Again, a lot of these are pipe dreams, but come on, it's going to be an hour-long show. You never know. And then I think they'll have some kind of third-party element there. I don't think it'll be huge. I think there'll be a few games here and there. Some people have speculated like Elden Ring or FF7. I'm not sure about that. But I do think Xbox will have a pretty big showing there. I'm going to keep saying it. I think Banjo... Wait, is Banjo... I think Banjo 1 and 2 might already be on Switch. I might have to rescind this. If not, Banjo 1 and 2... Maybe Banjo 3Ts. I don't know. I've been saying it for like 5 years. But I think Halo the Master Chief Collection is going to come at launch. Don't know how crossplay will work. I know their internet sucks. Something that Nintendo has to fix is make their internet better. Please. Like, their online functionality needs to be better. And then I think some more various Rare games. I don't think they can just throw Rare Replay on the Switch because of how it works. It's weird how that game works on Xbox. It kind of downloads some 360 games from the store as part of the collection, so it's not all in one UI like the Master Chief Collection. So I think they'll just put more Rare games on because they're still not all on there. I think Sea of Thieves actually could come because we got Grounded, and I just think that Sea of Thieves makes perfect sense on the Switch, and it's on PlayStation as well. So it's been out long enough. It's been out actually almost just under, like, 1 year less than the Switch. It's been out a long time. And then the last Xbox thing is, this also makes perfect sense to show off the mouse, the Age of Empires games. Age of Empires 4, the remaster of 2, and Age of Mythology. I think all those could come. And then, this is the last thing I have on here. Actually, I got 2 more things for my predictions. PlayStation will have more stuff on there because they already had at this last show 2 games, the Hot Shots Golf and Patapon collection, which is wild. I think Astro Bot is going to come to Switch too. It makes perfect sense. People say it feels like Mario Galaxy 3. It didn't sell that well on PlayStation. PlayStation needs the cash. They're hemorrhaging it. They just lost a ton of money on Concord. I think Astro Bot is coming. And then also another random one, Death Stranding. I think that might make its way to Switch too. And actually, this is something I came up with earlier today before I made this video. I do also think GTA 5 could finally make its way to Switch. I think that's a big possibility. And then the very last thing on my list that I came up for this prediction was the new Pro controller. They're going to just have a new, better ergonomics, better designed Switch 2 controller. And I think that is about it for my predictions. Yeah, it looks like it. So I might be overshooting it a little bit. I might be a little too optimistic. I seem to do that with Switch Directs. I need to remember what company we're dealing with. We're not dealing with Xbox or PlayStation or even just like third-party companies. They do stuff strangely. So, and I mean, it'd be cool if I was undershooting it and they do more than this, but it's an hour-long show. And I'm hoping that they cover the specs of the Switch 2. They get that out of the way first. Don't spend too much time on it, maybe 10 minutes at most. 10 minutes on how it functions, how the mouse functions, the internal specs. Then move on, then spend the other 50 minutes on games. Please, don't take up... I don't want it to be 50 minutes of technical jargon. Because nobody buying Nintendo games cares about that. Cares about specs, to be honest. Because Nintendo's never been one to really care about specs. So, that is my prediction list for tomorrow's Nintendo Switch 2 reveal. They're big. I'm very excited. I'm going to be up to stream it. So, and I apologize for not uploading recently. I've just been honestly not in the mood to, but I felt this was pretty important to make a video for. So, I'll stream it. I'm sure I'll probably make a video afterward talking about it. Maybe I'll get back into the groove of making videos again. So, if you like this video, like, share, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you very soon. Peace out.